Hey there, welcome to Diving into the Word with Augustina. We are reading through the entire Bible from Genesis to Revelation. We are going to do this each and every day at 1 p.m. here on my YouTube channel. Please subscribe to this channel if you've not subscribed, so that anytime a video is uploaded, you'll be notified. Let's get into today's read. Genesis chapter 41. And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored cows and fats, and they fed in the middle. And behold, 7 other cows came up after them out of the river, ill-favored and thin, and stood by the other cows upon the bank of the river. And the ill-favored and thin cows did eat up the 7 well-favored and fat cows. So Pharaoh awoke, and he slept and dreamed the second time, and behold, 7 years of grain came up upon one stalk, full and good, and behold, 7 thin years and dried by the wind, by the east wind sprang up after them, and the 7 thin years devoured the 7 healthy and full years. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled, and he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt and all the wise men thereof. And Pharaoh told them his dreams, but there was none that could interpret them unto Pharaoh. Then spoke the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Pharaoh was angry with his servants, and put me in custody in the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief baker. And we dreamed a dream in one night, I and he. We dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream. And there was there with us a young man, a Hebrew, servant to the captain of the guard, and we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams. To each man according to his dream did he did interpret. And it came to pass, as he interpreted to us, so it was. Me he restored unto my office, and him he hanged. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon. And he shaved himself, and changed his clothes, and came in unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And I have heard say of you that you can understand a dream to interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, In my dream, behold, I stood upon the bank of the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 cows, fat and well-favored, and they fed in the middle. And behold, 7 other cows came up after them, poor and ill-favored and thin, such as I never saw in all the land of Egypt for badness. And the thin and the ill-favored cows did eat up the first 7 fat cows. And when they had eaten them up, it could not be known that they had eaten them, but they were still ill-favored, as at the beginning. So I awoke, and I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 years came up on one stalk, full and good. And behold, 7 years withered, thin, and dried by the east wind sprang up after them. And the thin years devoured the 7 good years. And I told this unto the magicians, but there was none that could declare it to me. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, The dream of Pharaoh is one. God has showed Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good cows are 7 years, and the 7 good years are 7 years. The dream is one. And the 7 thin and ill-favored cows that came after them are 7 years. And the 7 empty years dried by the east wind shall be 7 years of famine. This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh. What God is about to do, he knows. What God is about to do, he shows unto Pharaoh. Behold, there comes 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt, and there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land, and the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine following, for it shall be very grievous. And for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It is because the thing is established by God, and God will shortly bring it to pass. Now therefore let Pharaoh seek out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the fifth part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years, and let them gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up grain under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities, and that food shall be for store to the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, Can we find such a one as this is, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Since God has showed you all this, there is none so discreet and wise as you are. You shall be over my house, and according unto your word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than you. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, See, I have set you over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand, and put it upon Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in clothing of fine lining, and put a gold chain about his neck. And he made him to ride in the second chariot which he had. And they cried before him, Bow the knee, and he made him ruler over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without you shall no man lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zaphenath-Paneah, and he gave him to wife Asenath, the daughter of Potiphera, priest of On. And Joseph went out over all the land of Egypt. And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh, and went throughout all the land of Egypt. And in the 7 plenteous years the earth brought forth by handfuls, and he gathered up all the food of the 7 years which were in the land of Egypt, and laid up the food in the cities. The food of the field, which was round about every city, laid he up in the same. And Joseph gathered grain as the sand of the sea, very much, until he quit numbering, for it was without number. And unto Joseph were born two sons before the years of famine came, which Asenath, the daughter of Potiphera, priest of On, bore unto him. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for God, said he, has made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. And the name of the second called he Ephraim, for God has called me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. And the 7 years of plenty that was in the land of Egypt were ended, and the 7 years of famine began to come, according as Joseph had said. And the famine was in all lands, but in the land of Egypt there was bread. And when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, Go unto Joseph, what he says to you do. And the famine was over all the face of the earth. And Joseph opened all the storehouses, and sold unto the Egyptians. And the famine was severe in the land of Egypt. And all countries came into Egypt to Joseph to buy grain, because that the famine was so severe in all lands. Chapter 42. Now when Jacob saw that there was grain in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, Why do you look one upon another? And he said, Behold, I have heard that there is grain in Egypt. Get you down there and buy for us from there, that we may live and not die. And Joseph's 10 brothers went down to buy grain in Egypt. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob sent not with his brothers, for he said, Lest perhaps mischief before him. And the sons of Israel came to buy grain among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. And Joseph was the governor over the land, and and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brothers came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. And Joseph saw his brothers, and he knew them, but made himself unknown unto them, and spoke roughly unto them. And he said unto them, From where do you come? And they said, From the land of Canaan, to buy food. And Joseph knew his brothers, but they knew not him. And Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them, and said unto them, You are spies, to see the nakedness of the land you are come. And they said unto him, Nay, my lord, but to buy food are your servants come. We are all one man's sons. We are honest men. Your servants are no spies. And he said unto them, Nay, but to see the nakedness of the land you are come. And they said, Your servants are 12 brothers, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and one is not. And Joseph said unto them, It is as I spoke unto you, saying, You are spies. Hereby you shall be proved. By the life of Pharaoh you shall not go forth from here, except your youngest brother come here. Send one of you, and let him fetch your brother, and you shall be kept in prison. That your words may be proved, whether there be any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh surely you are spies. And he put them all together into custody 3 days. And Joseph said unto them the third day, This do and live, for I fear God. If you be true men, let one of your brothers be bound in the house of your prison. Go, carry grain for the famine of your houses, but bring your youngest brother unto me. So shall your words be verified, and you shall not die. And they did so. And they said one to another, We are verily guilty concerning our brother, in that we saw the anguish of his soul when he besought us, and we would not hear. Therefore is this distress come upon us. And Reuben answered them, saying, Spoke I not unto you, saying, Do not sin against the child, and you would not hear? Therefore, behold, also his blood is required. And they knew not that Joseph understood them, for he spoke unto them by an interpreter. And he turned himself about from them and wept, and returned to them again and spoke with them, and took from them Simeon, and bound him before their eyes. And Joseph commanded to fill their sacks with grain, and to restore every man's money into his sack, and to give them provision for the way. And thus did he unto them. And they loaded their donkeys with the grain and departed there. And as one of them opened his sack to give his donkey provender in the inn, he saw his money, for behold, it was in his sack's mouth. And he said unto his brothers, My money is restored, and lo, it is even in my sack. And their hearts failed them, and they were afraid, saying one to another, What is this that God has done unto us? And they came unto Jacob their father unto the land of Canaan, and told him all that befell them, saying, The man who is the Lord of the land spoke roughly to us, and took us for spies of the country. And we said unto him, We are honest men, we are no spies. We are 12 brothers, sons of our father. One is not, and the youngest is this day with our father in the land of Canaan. And the man, the Lord of the country, said unto us, Hereby shall I know that you are honest men. Leave one of your brothers here with me, and take food for the famine of your households, and be gone, and bring your youngest brother unto me. Then shall I know that ye are no spies, but that ye are honest men. So will I deliver you your brother, and you shall trade in the land. And it came to pass, as they emptied their sacks, that behold, every man's bundle of money was in his sack. And when both they and their father saw the bundles of money, they were afraid. And Jacob their father said unto them, Me have you bereaved of my children? Joseph is not, and Simeon is not, and you will take Benjamin away. All these things are against me. And Reuben spoke unto his father, saying, Slay my 2 sons, if I bring him not to you. Deliver him into my hand, and I will bring him to you again. And he said, My son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If mischief befall him by the way in which you go, then shall you bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. Chapter 43. And the famine was severe in the land, and it came to pass, when they had eaten up the grain which they had brought out of Egypt, their father said unto them, Go again, buy us a little food. And Judah spoke unto him, saying, The man did solemnly warn unto us, saying, You shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. If you will send our brother with us, we will go down and buy you food. But if you will not send him, we will not go down. For the man said unto us, You shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. And Israel said, Why dealt you so ill with me, as to tell the man whether you had yet a brother? And they said, The man asked us carefully of our state and of our kindred, saying, Is your father yet alive? Have you another brother? And we told him according to the tenor of these words. Could we in any way know that he would say, Bring your brother down? And Judah said unto Israel his father, Send the lad with me, and we will arise and go, that we may live and not die, both we and you, and also our little ones. I will be surety for him, of my hand shall you require him. If I bring him not unto you, and set him before you, then let me bear the blame forever. For except we had lingered, surely now we would have returned the second time. And their father Israel said unto them, If it must be so now, do this. Take of the best fruits in the land in your vessels, and carry down the man a present, a little balm and a little honey, spices and myrrh, nuts and almonds, and take double money in your hand, and the money that was brought again in the mouth of your sacks, carry it again in your hand. Perhaps it was an oversight. Take also your brother and arise, go again unto the man, and God Almighty give you mercy before the man, that he may send away your other brother and Benjamin. If I be bereaved of my children, if I be bereaved of my children, I am bereaved. And the men took that present, and they took double money in their hand, and Benjamin, and rose up and went down to Egypt and stood before Joseph. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the ruler of his house, Bring this men home, and slay an animal, and make ready, for these men shall dine with me at noon. And the man did as Joseph bade him. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house. And the men were afraid, because they were brought into Joseph's house. And they said, Because of the money that was returned in our sacks at the first time are we brought in, that he may seek occasion against us, and fall upon us, and take us for slaves and our donkeys. And they came near to the steward of Joseph's house, and they spoke with him at the door of the house, and said, Oh, sir, we came indeed down at the first time to buy food. But it came to pass, when we came to the inn, that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the mouth of his sack, our money in full weight, and we have brought it again in our hand. And other money have we brought now in our hands to buy food. We cannot tell who put our money in our sacks. And he said, Peace be to you, fear not, your God and the God of your father has given you treasure in your sacks. I had your money. And he brought Simeon out unto them. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house, and gave them water, and they washed their feet. And he gave their donkeys provender. And they made ready the present for Joseph's coming at noon, for they heard that they should eat bread there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand into the house, and bowed themselves to him to the earth. And he asked them of their welfare, and said, Is your father well, the old man of whom you spoke? Is he yet alive? And they answered, Your servant, our father, is in good health. He is yet alive. And they bowed down their heads and paid him honor. And he lifted up his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, Is this your younger brother, of whom you spoke unto me? And he said, God be gracious unto you, my son. And Joseph made haste, For his heart did yearn over his brother, and he sought where to weep. And he entered into his chamber and wept there. And he washed his face and went out, and controlled himself, and said, Serve the food. And they served him by himself, and them by themselves, and for the Egyptians who did eat with him by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews, for that is an abomination unto the Egyptians. And they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men marveled one at another. And he took and sent portions unto them from before him. But Benjamin's portion was five times as much as any of theirs. And they drank and were merry with him. Chapter 44. And he commanded the steward of his house, saying, Fill the men's sacks with food, as much as they can carry. Put every man's money in his sack's mouth. And put my cup, the silver cup, in the sack's mouth of the youngest, and his grain money. And he did according to the word that Joseph had spoken. As soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away, they and their donkeys. And when they were gone out of the city, and not yet far off, Joseph said unto his steward, Up, follow after the men, and when you do overtake them, say unto them, Why have you rewarded evil for good? Is not this it from which my Lord drinks, and by which indeed he divines? You have done evil in so doing. And he overtook them, and he spoke unto them these same words. And they said unto him, Why says my Lord these words? God forbid that your servants should do according to this thing. Behold, the money which we found in our sack's mouth, we brought again unto you out of the land of Canaan. How then should we steal out of your Lord's house silver or gold? With whomever of your servants it be found, both let him die, and we also will be my Lord's slaves. And he said, Now also let it be according unto your words. He with whom it is found shall be my servant, and you shall be blameless. Then they speedily took down every man his sack to the ground, and opened every man his sack. And he searched and began at the eldest, and ended at the youngest, and the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. Then they tore their clothes and loaded every man his donkey, and returned to the city. And Judah and his brothers came to Joseph's house, for he was yet there, and they fell before him on the ground. And Joseph said unto them, What deed is this that you have done? Know you not that such a man as I can certainly divine? And Judah said, What shall we say unto my Lord? What shall we speak, or how shall we clear ourselves? God has found out the iniquity of your servants. Behold, we are my Lord's servants, both we and also with whom the cup is found. And he said, God forbid that I should do so, but the man in whose hand the cup is found, he shall be my servant. And as for you, get ye up in peace unto your father. Then Judah came near unto him and said, O my Lord, let your servants, I pray you, speak a word in my Lord's ears, and let not your anger burn against your servants, for you are even as Pharaoh. My Lord asked his servant, saying, Have you a father or a brother? And we said unto my Lord, We have a father, and an old man, and a child of his old age, a little one, and his brother is dead, and he alone is left of his mother, and his father loves him. And you said unto your servants, Bring him down unto me, that I may set my eyes upon him. And we said unto my Lord, The lad cannot leave his father, for if he should leave his father will die. And you said unto your servants, Except your youngest brother come down with you, you shall see my face no more. And it came to pass, when we came up unto your servant my father, we told him the words of my Lord. And our father said, Go again and buy us a little food. And we said, We cannot go down. If our youngest brother be with us, then will we go down, for we may not see the man's face, except our youngest brother be with us. And your servant my father said unto us, You know that my wife bore me 2 sons, and the one went from me. And I said, Surely he is torn in pieces, and I saw him not since. And if you take this also from me, and mischief before him, you shall bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. Now therefore, when I come to your servant my father, and the lad be not with us, seeing that his life is bound in the lad's life, it shall come to pass, when he sees that the lad is not with us, that he will die. And your servant shall bring down the gray hairs of your servant our father with sorrow to the grave. For your servant became surety for the lad unto my father, saying, If I bring him not unto you, then I shall bear the blame to my father forever. Now therefore I pray you, let your servant abide instead of the lad, a slave to my lord, and let the lad go up with his brothers. For how shall I go up to my father, and the lad be not with me, lest perhaps I see the evil that shall come on my father. Chapter 45. Then Joseph could not control himself before all them that stood by him, and he cried, Cause every man to go out from me. And there stood no man with him, while Joseph made himself known unto his brothers. And he wept aloud, and the Egyptians and the house of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said unto his brothers, I am Joseph, does my father yet live? And his brothers could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence. And Joseph said unto his brothers, Come near to me, I pray you. And they came near, and he said, I am Joseph your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. Now therefore be not grieved, nor angry with yourselves, that you sold me here. For God did send me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years has the famine been in the land, and there are yet 5 years in the which there shall neither be plowing nor harvest. And God sent me before you to preserve you a posterity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now it was not you that sent me here, but God. And he has made me a father to Pharaoh, and lord of all his house, a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. Haste you, and go up to my father, and say unto me, Thus says your son Joseph, God has made me lord of all Egypt. Come down unto me, tarry not, and you shall dwell in the land of Goshen, and you shall be near unto me, you and your children, and your children's children, and your flocks and your herds, and all that you have. And there will I nourish you, for yet there are 5 years of famine, lest you and your household and all that you have come to poverty. And behold, your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that it is my mouth that speaks unto you. And you shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt, and of all that you have seen. And you shall haste and bring down my father here. And he fell upon his brother's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept upon his neck. Moreover, he kissed all his brothers and wept upon them. And after that his brothers talked with him, and the report thereof was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, Joseph's brothers are come. And it pleased Pharaoh well, and his servants. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Say unto your brothers, This do you, load your beasts, and go, get you unto the land of Canaan, and take your father and your households, and come unto me, and I will give you the good of the land of Egypt, and you shall eat the fat of the land. Now you are commanded, this do you, take you wagons out of the land of Egypt for your little ones, and for your wives, and bring your father, and come. Also regard not your goods, for the good of all the land of Egypt is yours. And the children of Israel did so, and Joseph gave them wagons, according to the commandment of Pharaoh, and gave them provision for the way. To all of them he gave each man changes of clothing, but to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver, and 5 changes of clothing. And to his father he sent after this manner: 10 donkeys laden with the good things of Egypt, and 10 she-donkeys laden with grain and bread and food for his father by the way. So he sent his brothers away, and they departed. And he said unto them, See that you fall not out by the way. And they went up out of Egypt, and came into the land of Canaan unto Jacob their father, and told him, saying, Joseph is yet alive, and he is governor over all the land of Egypt. And Jacob's heart fainted, for he believed them not. And they told him all the words of Joseph, which he had said unto them. And when he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of Jacob their father revived. And Israel said, It is enough. Joseph my son is yet alive. I will go and see him before I die. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please do what to comment, like and share this video. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.